What does it do, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Scotty Says. I am your host, and I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. The Rams certainly did. Did you see the game on Sunday? The Rams opened up the whole can on Denver. They broke the Broncos. Russ cooked up a putrid stew, and the baker baked up a masterpiece, a Christmas beauty in NFL Week 16. And McGenius, the coach, the boy wonder, unveiled a long overdue offensive wrinkle. And we'll get to that shortly in the game analysis. But I have to say, where has this team been all season? And yes, the Rams exploded and unleashed on Denver. And maybe Denver has finally just called it quits and given up on the season because it didn't look like they had any will left to fight on Christmas Day. So, breaking news after the game, not unexpected at all. Denver coach Hackett, hacked, cut off, fired. And I saw a cutaway shot of him during the game, and I said to myself then, that's a dead man walking. And he's no longer walking. He is no longer ambulatory. He's done in Denver. But they still got the same problem at quarterback. What is wrong with Russell Wilson? Russ looks cooked. He looks done, finished. He looks like he's got some problems at home. I don't know. But this is about the Rams. And it was just a beautiful thing to watch, even though the season is over, even though the victory is a hollow one. It was still a Christmas present for Rams fans. So let's get to the game analysis, shall we? Now, to start the game off, on the inactive list, AD 99, the Beast, and, the Beast is done for the year. He won't be back. No need to bring him back at this point. I imagine he is intending to return next season. Who knows? We'll see how that plays out in the offseason. Also inactive, center, Brian Allen. And so that O-line shuffle continued on, but it did not matter on Christmas Day. Also inactive, the Wolford. Inactive, and as far as I'm concerned, he could stay that way. And also inactive for the Rams on Sunday, Stoney, the stone-handed one, was inactive, calf injury, not available. So, starting in McGenius famous, his preferred personnel grouping, 11 personnel, and we know that's one tight end, one running back, and 3 wide receivers. He ran out on the field, Cam the Grill Akers at tailback, who had his best day as a pro, as it would turn out. At tight end, of course, Higbee, no soup, and his starting wideouts, the imaginary / the real, a.k.a. Drip, also known as 2 Chainz Jefferson, along with Brandon Powell, and Tutu was starting at wideout on Christmas Day. And early on, McGenius unveiled the wrinkle that I alluded to a moment ago. He switched from his predictable 11 personnel, he switched the look, ladies and gentlemen, to 12 personnel. 12 personnel, meaning 2 tight ends. He went with a 2 tight end personnel grouping. Bryson Hopkins and Higbee with the 1 running back and 2 wideouts. And to me, this made all the difference. And I thought, where has this wrinkle been all season, Mr. McGenius? I wondered, Mr. McWonder, why so few offensive wrinkles? And finally, we saw one. And man, did it seem to work like a charm. That 2 tight end personnel grouping paid dividends right away. It paid dividends in the run game. It paid dividends in the pass game. It just seemed to do the trick. And so I sure would have liked to have seen these kinds of adjustments earlier on in the season when it still could have made a difference. Because the Rams, truth be told, they're bottom feeders offensively. They're catfish, okay? Crabs, okay? They are at the very bottom of the NFL in most offensive categories. And so, for example, they're 31st in the league in points scored this season. Oh, horrific. They're last in total yards offensively. Last in the NFL. Just ridiculous. So, these kinds of adjustments would have been appreciated more had they come earlier on when they really could have made a difference in the outcome of some of these games. By the way, Danger Russ went to cooking and he cooked up a stankin' dish. He was 1 of 3 on his first 3 passes, and the 2 incompletions were both interceptions. The first one, a magnificent interception by the rookie, Kobe Durant, diving, tumbling, flipping, and holding on to bring it down. And then the second one, B-Wags, Bobby Wagner with the pick. And in both cases, the Rams cashed the turnover in for points. And there we go again with that 12 personnel. In the first instance, a nice chunk pass to Hopkins that then was followed by a touchdown pass from the Baker to Higbee. And then in the second instance, the run game cashed in with the grill, running it in. And so very quickly, it was 17-0 Rams at the end of the first quarter. And I'm like, what is wrong with Russ? But that was just the beginning. The Baker was cooking for real. He started the game off 11 for 11 before he threw his first incompletion, which was a doozy because it hit the crossbar. I mean, he threw that thing away. But he followed that first incompletion up with a dart, a dime, a touchdown strike to the aforementioned Higbee, 24-3 LA. I mean, this 2 tight end game plan was just sizzling with success. Higbee is balling out, no soup, and the grill is grilling. And at halftime, it's 31-6 LA, and the game was already over. But on Denver's first drive of the second half, Russell Wilson, driving the struggle bus, gets picked yet again. And this time, who was it? Ashes with the pick in the end zone. And then he did the heavy balls dance. Ashes. And so everybody is getting in on the action. And so now this is Russell's 3rd interception of the day. And on the other side of the ball, the Rams offense is just percolating with the Baker. No turnovers, no sacks allowed, no punts on the day. It was amazing to behold. And so Into the fourth quarter, it's 41-6. Ow! 41-6. And then the cherry on top. The rookie, Kobe Durant, already with a pick on the day, snatches another one, picks off the backup quarterback, returns it 85 yards. 85 yards for the pick six touchdown. And it is over by a long shot. And the final score, 51-6 LA. And Denver they're fighting on the sidelines and pushing and shoving, and the coach is looking like I don't know where I am and I won't be here much longer. And he wasn't. And what about the Baker? This man completed 85% of his passes on the day. Second in Rams quarterback history, only to Kurt Warner at 88. 85% completion. 85% of his passes completed. He had an 88 QBR out of a possible 100. And the Grill had his best rushing day as a pro. The Grill ran for 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. And the defense, 4 total picks, total complete domination and annihilation. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, Rams fan. Final numbers. The Grill, 23 carries, 118 yards, a 5.1 yard per carry average, 3 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, the Baker, 24 of 28 for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception, an 88 QBR. The 2 tight end, Wrinkle, worked like a charm. Higbee led the way without the suit. 9 receptions for 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Bryson Hopkins, 3 receptions for 57 yards. And your tight ends were your leading receivers. Now, then 2 Chains, the Drip Jefferson, had 3 catches for 19 yards. Tutu had a couple catches for 14 yards. But the formula, chef's kiss, the formula. The Rams ran the ball 36 times for 158 yards. Only 28 pass attempts. This is what I've been calling formic genius. And finally, even though it's way too little and way too late, finally we saw the Rams break out. And on defense, who led the way again? Well, beside rookie, who had a magnificent day, reliable B-Wags, Bobby Wagner, led the team in tackles, led the team in assists, and had a sack and an interception. So the Bobby Wagner addition is paying fantastic dividends, and I look forward to seeing him in a Rams uniform in the years to come. And so this is where we are, my folks. Next up, it is the Chargers at the Palace in Inglewood. It will be a Chargers home game. Who knows what to expect? The Baker, magnificent and epic in the win versus the Raiders. Then pedestrian and awful at Green Bay, and then magnificent and epic in the win against them Broncos. So who knows what to expect against the Chargers, but I'm very interested to see. And then the season will mercifully end for these fellas in Seattle the week after against the Hawks, who looked like they knew exactly what they were doing when they let Russ cook his way right on out of town. And so I'm wishing you all happy holidays, a happy new year. But what I need you to do is throw me one of these. Throw it to me now. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment, because what I really want to know is, do you think the baker will be around as a ram next year? You know, old Potty, Matty from the D, is coming back. He is intending to start at QB for the Rams next season, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Until the next time, which won't be too long from this time, my friends, happy holidays once again. One love.